Well, it's time now for our competitiveness feature, and we ask if intellectual property increases company performance or competitiveness now. Joining me now is Danie, who is a partner with Spoor and Fisher. Danie, your opinion about this?
Yeah, sure. Well, innovation has always been, one of the strongest drives in the competitive sphere. And, we've seen it in recent years, specifically, in the green technology sphere in South Africa. There's been quite a development in that kind of field. So it's definitely something that is always popular and always, in the headlines.
So let's bring us a little bit more pertinent here, maybe to South Africa. If one looks at South Africa's standing on various indices, we quite frankly rank quite low. In those things that we rank quite high, we've been slipping in those rankings. Is innovation in South Africa in itself a problem?
I don't think so. There are definitely pockets of innovation, especially in certain fields like green technology, and especially when you look at the science councils and the universities, there has been a strong drive towards innovation. I think where we might be lacking, or something that needs to be emphasized, is the actual support structures that are already in place, especially from government, to help start up companies and entrepreneurs to set up a sustainable business. And I think it's maybe the lack of awareness of those institutions that, that might be in certain cases a problem.
So let's take us a little bit through those organizations and just educate us and the listeners this evening. What are some of those mechanisms and that might not be that well known?
Well, the thing is, when especially when people start with small businesses, then it's sometimes very difficult to know where to start. And there are structures like, for example, you've got the Innovation Hub, and company or setups like SEDA, which stands for the Small Enterprise Development Agency, that helps to focus and help support those startup companies, and effectively set up incubators which help support them during the commercialization phase of their business. Because with no prior background, it's sometimes very difficult, to set up the required structures to set up that sustainability in your business. So I think, by utilizing those kind of support programs from government and like the Innovation Agency, that can help those companies to set up a sustainable business.
Danie, let's talk a little bit more about the Innovation Hub and the Small Business Enterprise Hub. If one looks at both of those entities, let's assume today I'm a small business owner, or alternatively, I've got a great idea and I'd like to start a small business. How do I, as an individual, interact with both of these entities? What is the process involved?
Well, typically what you would do is that, those companies will have email addresses that you can use and submit your certain queries, for example, and they might then ask for more details regarding your business, or the setup or the idea that you have. And then typically the further process might be they would ask for a first consultation where you come in and they discuss it with you, and then they can try and see at what stage are you during your commercialization phase. Maybe you just a startup needing guidance as to how to hit the market, or maybe you're slightly more advanced and you need maybe guidance on actually, extending your markets to different, maybe geographical countries. So definitely, I think there's in the beginning, a screening process involved, and then based on that, they can support you based on where in your commercialization phase.
So both Innovation Hub and the Small Business Enterprise Hub that you're speaking about, those are obviously South African options for South Africans. What about other African economies? Have you got examples of these? Are these options available in other countries?
There are generally options throughout Africa, focused, I think, specifically countries might be more focused on.
We seem to lose Danie Pienaar there. Danie, maybe it's possible if you can hear us. We'd love to potentially phone you back. Danie, can you hear us this evening?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry, you just disappeared there for a couple of seconds. Maybe just repeat that. Are there options available in other African economies?
There are, and I think a lot of the other countries are usually mostly focused firstly on supporting local innovation. So they will have certain processes and projects in place for firstly helping startup companies in their specific regions.
Now, I suppose a very controversial question this evening, but the new buzzword, the new buzzword out of government is radical economic transformation. Is there a place for innovation within radical economic transformation?
Well, I think if you provide the appropriate support structure for startup companies, to set up sustainable businesses, then obviously that will help with, creating new employment opportunities and help for reducing, the issues with jobs we currently have in the country. So yes, I think if we provide proper support for startup companies, that can definitely make a positive impact.
And any specific arena where South Africans are, kind of standing out on innovation? What are the arenas? Are they very specific arenas, or is it pretty broad?
Well, there's been quite a drive lately in the green technology sphere, and also, in the medical field. For example, there are quite a number of different companies that are developing certain medical either compositions or, for example, there's I think a company called Hear Screen, which has developed the first clinically valid mobile app hearing technology, where you can actually use a mobile application, for example, with certain, headphones to actually do certified hearing tests. So, and those things are actually quite, encouraging to see.
Well, that's Danie Pienaar. He's a partner with Spoor & Fisher. If you thought that South Africa wasn't innovating, I hope that he has dispelled that for you. You're listening to Classic Business.